Today I'm making the perfect mini quilt in just 2 hours. I am turning a whole quilt into small blocks just to sew them all right back together. Have I finally lost my mind? Yes, but it will also be the cutest quilt ever. We're essentially going to create a sort of jelly roll bundle situation around here. I am going to cut some 2-inch strips and need groups of 4. I'm using yardage today because it's quicker and I'm tired. We need pieces that are at least 6.5 by 2 inches, ideally more than that, so we can make several blocks at a time. So 6.5, 13, 18 and a half, etc, etc. And because we need groups of 4 and we're using 2 groups of 4 per block, we need at least 8 different fabrics, although I do think having a bigger variety will be nicer. The thing about cutting fabric is if you use a larger ruler, it will be harder to keep the ruler steady unless you use weights or keep readjusting your grip very carefully. But if you fold the fabric and use a smaller ruler, odds are your strips won't be as straight. There may be small waves or slight points to your strips. Personally, I find that I prefer dealing with those and cutting smaller strips than going big. My cutting mat isn't that large, and more often than not, the ruler ends up shifting anyway. I try to correct my fabric if necessary before I cut and want a ruler that's at least as large as the blocks I need. But at the end of the day, this is a very forgiving pattern, so wonky strips will not matter that much, okay? As far as selecting our groups, we want big contrast, and I don't really have a color scheme in mind for this, so I'm just picking random strips, making sure they're not too similar and just sewing them together. Also, I guess you could just use 2 colors if you'd like. It would work, except it would look like a completely different pattern, and the one I have in mind today needs big, diverse colors. So now that we have 2 very cute string blocks, we need to turn them into something else, something much more exciting. And in order to do that, we need to cut our blocks diagonally once. Now, very important, we cut in the exact same direction for both blocks. And the way we make sure to do this is to place both blocks side by side with the exact same layout, which to me is horizontal lines, and then we just cut in the exact same direction, which to me is from left to right. And by the time we're done, we need to have 4 triangles. And now we puzzle. Our 6-inch blocks will turn into something much larger, another big plus for this quilt, because that means you can grow it really quickly. And as far as puzzling goes, this block really builds itself, as long as we've done our jobs right back when we were cutting. And once we're happy with it, we just sew all the bits into one block. So essentially, I am turning a quilt I made a while back into small quilt blocks. Never done it before, but if you really want to, I think we can do this with pretty much any quilt. It's just a matter of downsizing, like a lot. But anyway, it was called a 1-block quilt. I don't know if you saw that one, and the whole quilt was made out of 1 block. So now I'm making smaller blocks, adding a bit of a twist and making a quilt. Except it's a string quilt, clearly, since we are using strips, and it's also an X quilt, I guess, because these blocks will end up looking like X's by the time we're done. And as usual, I have no idea what this is called, so if you know, drop me a comment below, please. And we are done with our first block, and it is looking so cute and special and awesome and all the best things. Time to make some more real quick. So let's just raise our table again and go back to cutting. 3 years ago, FlexiSpot, today's sponsor, sent me this desk, and after using it every day since, I can honestly say it has completely transformed my quilting routine. This is a standing desk, which means I can raise it or lower it anytime I want. So I can just stand when I'm cutting fabric, or I can sit down when I'm sewing or prepping. It just makes the whole process so much more comfortable. Back when I had a regular desk, I'm not even kidding, sometimes my back would hurt so badly from all the hunching. Now with the E7 Pro, there's a button for standing, one for sitting, and you can easily adjust and save whatever height feels right for you. This desk is a quilter's absolute dream. It's quiet, doesn't wobble, and it can lift up to 440 pounds. Plus, it was surprisingly easy to assemble. I use it every day, and not just for quilting, but for writing, for painting. It's basically my whole office. And if you go to FlexiSpot.com, you can choose from a wide range of desktop sizes and materials to fit your space and your style. Every desk comes with a 15-year warranty and a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it completely risk-free. I honestly cannot recommend FlexiSpot enough, and if you've been wishing your workspace just worked better for you, this is exactly what you need. Your body will feel the difference instantly. Plus, if you use the code YTE730 at checkout, you will save an extra $30 on your own E7 Pro desk. Check out the link in the description for all the details. And we are doing 11 more to be exact, and this is what we get. Cute, colorful, one-of-a-kind string quilt blocks that you can whip up easily. Particularly if you get yourself a nice jelly roll bundle, in which case you won't even need to cut fabric before starting, and your blocks will be much bigger. Now, I will say, and I always like to say this, my original blocks were 6 inches because I used a 1/4 inch presser foot, which gave me a 1/4 inch seam allowance. As it turns out, even if you're using a 1/4 inch presser foot as well, it does not mean your blocks will also be exactly 6.5 inches. I own 3 sewing machines, and each 1/4 inch seam allowance presser foot is different. And as long as you use the same machine for the entire quilt, there's not a problem with that. What I mean to say is, the way you find the size of your first 2 blocks is to measure the length of your 4 strips sewn together, because that is the width of your block when it's time to cut. That is the absolutely best way to make sure you get squares and not rectangles. But we're not done here, not at all, because today I am adding sashing to our quilt, and I also want to add a special touch to it. And we could do this the traditional way, where we just cut pieces of sashing and add it to the puzzle before sewing, but I like to make life easier for myself, so I'm just going to make 3 9 patches. So the plan here is make the 9 patches and then cut them in pieces in order to add some sashing to our blocks with a tiny square in the intersections. Except I'm getting a bit creative with my 9 patches by making my sashing squares rectangles actually. Can I still call it a 9 patch though? I'm not sure, but it is what it is. I don't want very thick sashing, and this is how I make it happen. What can I say? I'm a rebel. And I have picked a very dramatic color for my intersections. I guess I'm also a bit of a drama queen when it comes to my quilts. It just takes the whole thing up a notch. Also, I've decided to use the same color for all my 9 patches for the intersections, but you do not have to. I just like the cohesiveness of it all. And how cute are these? So now we cut our 9 patches into 4 pretty pieces before making our pretty puzzle. I wish there were more variations we could use with these blocks. They are pretty straightforward, unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know. At the same time, I kind of enjoy the no-brainer aspect of it all. You really do not have to think much with this quilt. You just need to keep on going. Final teeny tiny step, which is to finish off this puzzle with some enders and some leaders, you know, like just some extra sashing pieces to make it look polished and complete. An extra frame, you know, this quilt really needs. And now it's time to sew. It looks like a lot of pieces, but may I remind you, we have done quilts with over 100 pieces, so this is a piece of cake if you organize the process. I like to add my end pieces for the blocks before sewing the rows together, and then I finish it off by joining the rows, and that's all there is to it, you know, with a little bit of seam nesting. You know, out of all my sewing setup, my table truly is the thing you ask and comment more on. Well, that and my pincushion. And I do love talking about the huge impact it has had on my life. It may seem like a small thing, but when you quilt for a living, when you're at your desk cutting and sewing and pressing every day, it really adds up. And I usually only make tiny quilts. It's even more important when I work on the bigger pieces. This task makes me happy, and I think it will make you happy too, or at the very least, you're back. And as far as the pincushion, if you want a tutorial, let me know and I'll share a link for it. It's a real oldie, that one. I think you'll love it. Like I said, I have made my sashing pieces thinner because I don't want my sashing to be very large. But if you like wider sashing, you can totally make a traditional 9-patch and just follow all the other steps. This still is the best way to create sashing as far as I'm concerned. I do not like the time and effort it takes to add one piece at a time. Plus, it makes it that much harder to make sure that the intersections fall perfectly in place. I am having so much fun with this one. I know I don't show it a lot, but I truly have favorites, what can I say? And yes, it's usually my latest quilt, but I guess that's a good thing. And it may sound silly, but that's just the way I am. If I'm not excited about what I'm doing, I have no motivation to do it in the first place. I am truly, truly excited to show you what we've done today. And here we have it, our very pretty, very awesome string quilt done in a jiffy that looks absolutely stunning. Do not forget to check out FlexiSpot's E7 Pro desk. It will raise your quilting game to another level, literally. And I will see you very soon. Happy quilting, bye bye!